Hey people, welcome back. First of all, thanks for all the appreciation, advice, and faith you have shown towards my channel. I sincerely appreciate that. If you are new here, check out my other videos and you can subscribe as well. Now, today, as a good gesture, I would like to talk about the entirety of Mulesoft development and its topics. The first few set of things I have been advising my colleagues and followers is to gather an overall idea on what the person is getting into as a Mulesoft aspirant. You, as a viewer, need to have a grand vision of the entirety of the Mulesoft development. You need to know the list of topics, development best practices, etc. You must also understand that Mulesoft is not all that great when it is seen as an individual tool. Mule ESP cannot and will not be a solo player. It needs friends, best buddies, whom I can call as the non-Mule external services. For example, Salesforce, Kafka, Apache MQ, MySQL, Oracle PostgreSDB, REST SOAP services, Amazon Web Services like S3, DynamoDB, Amazon SQS, Elasticsearch, CloudWatch, Kibana, Git, and more. By naming all these services, you would have by now already understood that the Mulesoft always needs allies. It's a team player. Enough beating around the bush. Let's get to the topic and see the list of things one must be aware of as a Mulesoft developer. Note, this is a short video and all we'll be discussing in here is a learning plan for you. Prepare a schedule accordingly. I just don't want you to unnecessarily suffer scraping for topics on YouTube for endless hours. Not many videos or places you could find an open list of topics which you can go through instantly. So sit back and enjoy. Let's look at what you need. This is a read through. Now here are some general list of topics. Introduction to Design Center, Anypoint Studio, RAML 100 and 200. Talking about various type of data types, resource types, libraries, fragments, which we have already covered in our previous videos. Exchange and publishing. Next, you need to know about the Mule message structure, transport barriers, scope of variables and payload transformations, and then complete overview of batch processing. Use of API manager policies like client ID enforcement, IP whitelisting, OAuth 2 framework, Okta, JWT tokens, auto discovery, etc. RAML or connector importation from Exchange, Design Center, local machine. Property parameterization and encryption using AES and Blowfish algorithms. Concepts of vCore and Mule limitations. Runtime property overriding. Next, Mulesoft API-led connectivity. The different levels of API like System API, Process API, Experience APIs. Development best practices for both Mule XML code and MUnit code. REST versus SOAP services, the differences between them. Object Store V1 and V2. Complete dataweave 2.0. Scopes and conditional based routing, and all Mulesoft components which are natively available. Next, you need to look at Log4j framework, MUnits, Maven, and dependency injection via POM file. You need to have a brief understanding and a look at Mule project codes and examples. For versioning control, you use GitHub and GitLab. Usage of tools like Git Bash, eGit plugins, CI/CD pipelining using Azure DevOps, Jenkins, AWS code build, code deploy, programs as such. For load testing, you can use Apache JMeter and Postman collection. You need to also use Mulesoft accessory technologies like S3, DynamoDB, which are part of AWS services. You must learn about error handling framework, retry mechanisms, reprocessing scenarios for failed records if there is a case, and finally the ELK stack, a short form for Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana. Next, you must try custom-made connectors and native ones, connecting to Kafka for inbound calls and data enrichment, familiarity with reading and writing to Kafka topics. You also need to get a familiarity with Kafka producers, consumers, consumer groups, acknowledging modes, etc. Similar thing is also applicable for any type of queuing services like AnyPoint MQ, ActiveMQ. Next, you must learn dealing with different types of input and output data formats, like using CSV input and outputs, flat files and FFT schemas, working with JSONs, octet stream, Avro schemas, etc. Along with this, you must also learn cron expressions, regular expressions, and dataweave lambda expressions in detail. For auto hiding of your encrypted properties, or if you're in a process of trying to sensitivize them, you can use mule artifact.json. This would be especially helpful when you're overriding properties which are encrypted but not to be seen quite open in runtime manager tab. Now these are some refined list of topics I have come up with. Let's read them out. You need to learn JWT tokens, database connectors, Amazon SQ, integrating the Mule apps with AWS, CloudWatch, Elasticsearch, and Kibana for logging purposes, Apache JMeter for load testing, Mule property encryption using AES and Blowfish or PGP encryption algorithms, Mule property file editor usage and secure property tools, concept of servers, server groups, clusters, and on-premise deployments. You have to learn about ActiveMQ, AnyPointMQ, Maven private repository and archetype creation. You had to learn CI/CD pipelining using Azure services. Learn about Mule, ServiceNow, case creation, basics of Jenkins, Mule batch processing, dataweave. Now, when it comes to dataweave, these are the subset of things which you need to focus much. Java module, array modules, core modules, binaries, string, difference comparison, etc. Local and global variable declarations in dataweave scripts, usage of functions and do scopes, and you had to learn about dataweave operations such as group by, order by, if else, match case, map object, flat map, date format conversions, filters, trim, default, format conversions, distinct by, dataweave selectors like single value selector, multi-value selector, key name, attribute value, descendant selector, etc. And finally the lambda expression. Next, you need to take a look at choice, scatter gather for flow routing. These are the basic things which you need to learn in Mule. You have to also learn for each, async, flow, subflow, try, until successful, which are basically categorized as scopes. And last but not the least, you need to learn about schedulers for running Mule jobs based on fixed frequency and cron expressions. Now here are some useful links I have for using Java in Mulesoft and the list of links for dataweave. You can find them in the description section. Take a look once. So that's it guys. You know what to do now. Thank you once again. Hope you found this useful. Bye.